Boys that I was tripping, kept the vision, I ain't even care. Now the just stop and stir, it took a while but made it there. And I bought my shirt, and my chain and chandelier. Double seal Louis V, I swear to God, this all I wear. Boys that I was tripping, kept the vision, I was on a mission. Got the snakes around me, now they talking shit like Kyle hissing. So tripping too,
What's good, Souls of Thought family? It's your boy Norris, and I'm back again for another episode of Souls of Thought. This is gonna be a hot one, y'all. This is gonna be a hot one. We about to talk about a lot of things that have been going on. There's been a lot of race baiting. There's been a lot of people jumping on the pony. There's been just a lot of stuff you won't believe. This episode is going to be filled with a lot of education, a lot of information for those who want to criticize. We're going to start providing you guys some substance through videos, my opinion, and some facts here and there, and get you guys going. But we're going to start this thing off popping today. I'm going to start it off with somebody, a man of God. With that being said, before we jump into today's episode, make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe. It's nothing. It's easy to hit that like button. It's free. I'm appreciating all you guys' support. We're trying to get the channel to more subscribers. We're trying to get this thing out there for more people to be able to see. But man, we got a good one for you today. Each week, each month, trying to get better, try to bring better content, better visual. If you see it, got the background popping. We're just doing a little bit more and more in the studio. So we're going to get this thing popping. We're going to get this thing going. But again, it's your boy Norris with Souls of Thought. And we're going to jump into this thing, man. We're going to jump right in there. And we're going to let a man of God explain to you guys some things here.
Now, last thing before we go to the word of the Lord. Devontae, play the clip. I want to show you something. Play the clip, Devontae.
Get out of there, Negro, and stand with your people so that you understand that God is on our side.
All right, stop right there. That's Jamal Bryant in Atlanta berating African Americans who went to the White House to celebrate Black History Month with the president. So he told the Negro to get out of there and go stand with your people so you will know that God is on our side. Now, if one time they were trying to put out that President Trump canceled Black History Month. You know he canceled Black History Month, don't you? You know black folk will believe anything. Anything you just tell us, the sky's falling. You go duck it. Listen, these are the same people who are for diversity. Watch this word, inclusion and equity. Now, if you're going to be inclusive, Dr. Jamal Bryant, does that mean that you ought to include Black people who aren't Democrats? Are we actually in a place where the only way you can be Black and stand with your people is to be a Democrat? Now, if that's where we are, we're the dumbest people on the face of the planet. And we're the only people in America who operate that way. You can be white and be a Republican or a Democrat, Hispanic and be a Republican or a Democrat. Praise the Lord. Whatever, and be a Republican or a Democrat. But if you're Black, The only way you can be an authentic black person is to be a Democrat. That's stupid. And you know what it means? It means that explains why we spend half the time, or maybe even more, out of power. I've said for years, we need to operate politically, and I want to make this clear, in a way where both parties will compete for our vote. When one party knows that they're going to get your vote no matter what, you get nothing from that party. When another party knows that they're not going to get your vote no matter what, you get nothing from that party. So then you end up in no man's land. We are not married to the Democrat Party.
Thank you so much. Oh man, thank you, Jesus. Thank you. So you have it there. That's Bishop Patrick Wooten. He's firing back at Pastor Jamal Brown, which is very unique to me that we don't just have beef in the secular world no more. We having beefs in the pulpit. Now, you cannot tell me that our world is not the most divided or racially divided as it has ever been. We now have men of God calling other men of God Negroes, the N-word. We got people having to defend other people because of a pastor in Atlanta who continues to literally rob his congregation of salvation. See, I grew up in I was Southern Baptist, grew up in Louisiana, went to church from yay high, what they call yay high to a grasshopper, all the way up. I know the word, been in the word. And this is what I even try to tell my own family. What this pastor just said is what I've been trying to explain to my own family. Aunts, uncles, nieces, nephews, cousins, everybody think that you must be black. You must be Democrat to be black. You see the whole world wrong if you are a black man and you do not support Democrat. You might as well just not even be black if you're not a Democrat. And it baffles me that it takes pastors, people with the word of God, to try to explain to individuals, if we're this far out of pocket, things will never get better. Look at the people who speak for us. Al Sharpton, Ben Crump, Kamala. What they were doing that day? Kamala. Kamala. These people do not have our best interests in mind. And I always feel that if we're under the roof, if we're in the church and you are the church is in you, so you don't have to go to church just to be a part of a church, but the church is in you. But that's Bible study for another day, a whole nother time. With that being said, were you supposed to be going to praise and worship, you have to take time out of your day to explain things to the congregation who might be taking in information from somebody who is not a credible source. I don't know if y'all seen Pastor Jamal Bryant on Cam Newton's podcast. Dude he should not be in the pulpit. Just like myself, right? Just because I know the word, just because I know who God is, everybody's not suited for the pulpit. Everybody's not called. And see, that's a lot of people think they've been called. You're not called. When you're separating people by race, you can't say God called you to that pulpit. There is no way God will use you to speak to people and divide people. God has never been a man of division or confusion. Let me say that again. God has never been a man of division or confusion. God came down and gave the word to everyone who wanted to listen. His son Jesus traveled and gave the word to everyone who wanted to listen. Nobody was separated by race. Nobody was separated by color, gender, none of that. Jesus even helped the woman at the well. Had multiple husbands, been married multiple times, but it didn't change the way he loved her. And I wonder why us as African Americans, we can't get to that point. Why can't we get to a point to understand that, hey, you might be a black conservative, you might believe in some things I don't believe in, but that doesn't make you less black. Because if you notice, black conservatives outside of now, because it's becoming so big, when y'all had Biden and Harris in that White House, nobody said a word. We just seen everything that wasn't happening and we lived through it. But now that President Trump is in the White House, boy, we going crazy. And it baffles me because, on my last episode, I talked about comments and reviews, and people say that you're not providing facts or anything of that nature. So I'm gonna get you guys something. I'm gonna get you guys something to get your wheel spinning. And again, we appreciate you, Bishop Patrick Wooden. We really, really appreciate you, man. We need more pastors like you, more people that's gonna speak up and talk to people and explain the way things should be going. Appreciate you, brother. Godspeed. But I'm gonna show you guys something in just a second. So, Pastor Jamal Brown was doing all this hoopla and let's boycott Target, and then you got Al Sharpton leading black people into Costco. And it baffles me because do you guys know who's actually started the February 28th boycott of the businesses? If you don't know, you have came to the right place. Okay? You came to the right place. You see that bright smile right there? You see that bright smile right there? This is John Schwarz, the real founder of February the 28th. Look at that bright smile. Look at that boy. I'm just a good old boy. Yeah. Look at him. All you blackity black people. Let's go over here. We're gonna do some reading today, since people say the channel doesn't provide any information, any facts. Let's read to you. This is from CBS News. After years of rallying against corporate greed on social media, John Schwarz had an idea that suddenly caught fire. An economic blackout aimed at resisting what he maintains is an alliance between corporations and politicians to rig the system against ordinary Americans. Man, let me read that one more time. An economic blackout aimed at resisting what he maintains is a alliance between corporations and politicians to rig the system against ordinary Americans. Nowhere in there did he say Black Americans. Nowhere in there did he say Native Americans, Hispanic, minority. He didn't say nothing about minority. He said ordinary Americans. But let's continue to read. The 57-year-old Chicago resident, good old Shy, founder of People's Union USA, you can look it up. They're an advocacy group leading the campaign expresses surprise at suddenly finding himself and his movement in the spotlight. So here we go again. Black people helping another white person get in the spotlight, which I see no problem with that. But y'all would call me an Uncle Tom because I support Donald Trump. I support the things that are going on. I support that there are only two genders. I support that we shouldn't have men and women's sports. I don't understand. We can agree to disagree, but man, you guys right here have allowed him to get in the spotlight. Yet, while he initially found the attention overwhelming, man, y'all, he got so much attention, it was overwhelming. Schwarz said that in other ways, it's a moment he's been preparing for all of his life. 57 years old, little John Schwarz came out of his mama womb. And he's been preparing his whole life. His whole life. All of his life. To lead you old black people on this good old movement. Oh, never mind, not black people, ordinary Americans. Sorry. I've been online for 10 years. He just said all of his life now. I've been online for 10 years trying to do this kind of nice and do this in kind of a nice way, not really speaking as bluntly on specific topics. Schwarz told CBS, Money Watch, and then after that, I said no. This is great because this is exactly what I wanted to do. And I just dove in head first, and we're not stopping. Schwarz, a father of 3, and he's a great old and a meditation teacher, said the idea for a blackout came to him while recording the latest in his series of videos posted on social media, in which his presence, which presents himself as a common man who is also president of the United States. When I was into about the third or fourth one of those, I said even a president should be calling for economic blackout and to unionize citizens. And when I kind of said that, it sparked that idea in me, and I said, you know what? As a matter of fact, let's do this. Let's do an economic blackout. Get a bunch of people together for one day if they want to take part and start something and try to work on unionizing the people. So again, none of this ever said anything about black people. I wonder how people like Pastor Jamal Bryant, good old Al Sharpton, how did they jump on board this white man's like, look at that smile. He just knew he was going to get y'all stupid idiots online. Boy. Over the past month, word was spread quickly of the February 28th blackout, which urges Americans to refrain from spending any money at any major retailer for 24 hours. The People's Union says it's political and that it's called for a boycott. Communicated by punchy posts on Instagram and TikTok, set to music as well by text and email. It's meant to fire shots across the bow of corporate giants from Amazon to McDonald's. So if you didn't know, for all you black people who was following Jamal, see, they knew they had to get somebody to look like you to spread the word. See that? Look at him. Look at John. Look at that smile. You think John care? Why is John so passionate about this? Because he wanted to support ordinary Americans. And if you read that first line again that I read, I think John was more like us, the conservative people, than like y'all. John seen a problem and he felt like it was a certain way for us to stand up and fix this problem. And see, a lot of you on the way up don't know me, but I've been saying this for probably about the past 4 to 5 years that The only way to make change is for everybody to stand up and do something. Not by race, everyone. If you want gas prices to go down, you know what you do? Everybody don't go get gas. Just stay home. But you know what? You can't do that, right? Because your boss ain't gonna care about you missing work. You're gonna get fired. See, it's a lot of things we just can't do because we don't have control of it. So you guys had a little control if you can walk into Target or walk into McDonald's, all those type of things. But you did still spend your money the next day, March 1st, because that was paycheck day. You got your first of the month checks on the 28th of February, and you guys were ready to spend them good old coins the next day. And then if you've been watching the world, it's Mardi Gras season, so y'all were out, and that's what baffles me too. You turn on the TV and now all y'all together, catching bees, catching candy, catching sandwiches off of floats. But that same person you're laughing, joking with, dancing with, doing your little juke to, could be the same person who believes in Trump. But it don't matter to you when you're in where you want to be or doing what you want to do. Just wanted to give y'all this little educational moment because it's getting out of hand. You guys are so quick to judge people who look like yourself, but then you'll go run behind somebody who doesn't look nothing like you, who's not having any of these problems that you're having. You'll jump on board his campaign and then judge any conservative black man or woman who chooses to support Trump and call us every name in the book. You can't make this stuff up, man. Mr. John Schwarz, he's the real founder of 28 February, the blackout. That's him. Probably a minimalist anyway. But I want to say thank you, John, for making this article. Thank you for coming out to let us know who really is in charge of these movements. And as I mentioned anyway on my social media, you guys are going to get in the same cars that are produced by the man. You're going to wear the same clothes that are produced by the man. And you're going to continue to serve the man because that's just life. But you won't root for anybody who's doing something right for the world. It's crazy, man. John Schwarz, we appreciate you, man. We appreciate you. Thank you very much. We appreciate you, brother. So, with that being said, they went to it on Anton Daniels' show. It's Q show. It's the after hours show. I don't know if you guys watch this at all, but pretty good show. Had some decent people on the panel. So I'm gonna share this with you guys. So here we have our good panel. This is the Q show. It's on Anton's after hours platform, but Q over there in the left-hand corner, light-skinned lady, is the one who kind of co-hosts the show or hosts the show, and Anton is kind of there to be like a moderator, but he also gives his opinion. And I want you guys to hear what they felt about the blackout from Black people. So let's see.
Do you think she's right? Do you think that people should band together and have a blackout? Would it be impactful to society?
I mean, it was impactful before. It made an impact before once upon a time. So I think back then when it didn't make an impact, Black people as a whole were just more unified. We had more of a purpose to want to progress as a community. So it was a lot easier for us to get on the same page and sacrifice things for the long term, for the greater good. I don't think that's where we are now. But I know if we did get on the same page, we could make an impact because it's already happened. Our dollar is powerful, and with these corporations, if you withhold that dollar in exchange for them to do right by you, it can work. It has worked before. So.
Sorry. No, but go ahead. Anybody agree or disagree with her?
I absolutely disagree. I feel like
Yeah.
one day is not enough. And then number two, for us to boycott certain stores because DEI initiatives were pulled back, we look like a joke as a whole, as Black people, for thinking that that is something we need to defend. First of all, DEI does nothing for us as a whole. And secondly, just because Target is no longer required to hire a transgender lady with blue hair and a plastic penis does not mean that I should not go shop in that store because that person cannot get a job showing up the way that they present themselves. Additionally, again, we have boycotted in the past and it has made a difference, but things like the Montgomery bus boycott lasted over a year. That's how you make a difference. So unless we're going to not shop at Target for a year, unless we're going to not shop at any of these businesses for a year plus until they, I guess, bring back DEI, then again.
So you kind of can't see her face, but that's Michaela Montgomery right there. She's the same female who actually spoke for Donald Trump when she met him at Chick-fil-A when he was out doing his rounds, doing his campaigning. Down below is Jazz. Jazz is a very pro-Black advocate. You know, she's all about, you know, the pro-Black stuff, which is cool. But Michaela made a great point, and it was the same point that I was trying to make to you guys on previous episodes of my podcast, is that these things that we're doing for a short period of time, a day, 24 hours, that stuff means nothing. We continue to compare history without knowing the facts of what happened. These boycotts went on very long periods of time when people boycotted certain things. And we're not going to even get into even when we did have our own, you know, we started separating. We wanted what the other man had. If you think about the Negro League baseball, we had our own MLB. We had some of the greatest talent in the world, but we wanted to integrate and we wanted to do things. And now it seems like we don't want to integrate anymore. It seems like now that we all are together, we now are trying to separate ourselves again. But I'm going to let them finish up so you guys can hear some more.
And us not shopping for a day did nothing but make it easier for white people and others to shop in peace. No long lines. That's what I appreciated that day.
Well, it wasn't just for that one day. There was actually a plan for other days to make an impact as well. It wasn't just that one day. There were several other days that.
And I apologize. That's Jazz's feedback from her phone. So
they had planned to do this boycott, etc. I don't disagree with what you're saying. It definitely takes more than just a day, but I know particularly for this boycott, they did have other days planned out to boycott as well. So, I mean, we got to start somewhere as Black people. What do you guys think would have been a better thing for us to do in this moment?
Jazz,
boycott single parenthood.
One second, Victor. Jazz, leave and come back because your mic got static. Like, I don't know. If
okay.
Just leave and come back. Go ahead, Victor.
Boycott single parenthood. We need to work on fixing our homes and communities first to have a legitimate impact on anybody's financial market. Like, if you want to impact something economically, you need to do it as a community and then be able to draw everybody out. This is how you pick your politicians. This is how lobbyists put their voting blocks together. And you need to have a defined left and right boundary. If you're going to boycott, like you said, it was significant dates that might have been lined up or whatever. But like, if you decide to boycott from like November to February, something that you can actually measure and pivot off of, then you have some metrics to work off of. And you're definitely going to need a sustained effort from a large group of people. I think the Montgomery bus boycott lasted 3 years, if I'm not mistaken. It's going to take a whole lot of different commitment, you know what I'm saying, in order for someone to see a sustained economic impact. And based on the fact that Black people make up, 14 to 16% of the population, what market, we got to start where we can have the most impact. And I believe that if you could do that more effectively if you own your communities, if you have the right kind of leadership, you know, in your own household. You can't do that without men. I don't think that.
And he's making some great points there because we don't talk about that enough. And this is the saying that I that I say, and it was a saying by Malcolm X actually, is that we're in the middle of the ocean worrying about the people in the tub. Let me say that again. We're in the middle of the ocean worrying about the people in the tub. We are the only race who continues to be drowning, continue to be fighting uphill, and we continue to worry about what's going on over there, and all those people got to do is stand up. And that's the biggest frustration for me. I guarantee if you polled 80% of African Americans who are now conservative, they all at one point used to be Democrats. They used to be liberal. But you know why they changed their thought process? It's because they seen what happens when you support your own. They weren't getting any positive feedback from their own people. Just like even here on YouTube, you guys can disagree, but you just won't hit a like button. You'll come on and take the time out to watch something, but you just can't hit a like button. You can't share. You can't have responsible, open conversation without insulting someone. You will tell somebody that you're not providing any information, but your comment provides no information. So it's just one of those things that I think he's very correct. I think the way you raise your family, having two-parent homes, even if not two-parent homes, having great co-parenting situations can improve our economy.
That you can have any type of movement that's credible without men in the front.
Well, the movement started by a white man. That's the one.
And that's the other part. And what I'm saying is that's the other part of what I'm about to say too. This movement wasn't what was something else. Black people kind of like jumped in it with another agenda, because this was about an economic blackout, right? From the People's Union. The dude name was John Schwarz or something like that, 57-year-old guy. And he was talking about making an economic impact or whatever. But like from where I've seen, and correct me if I'm wrong, the people that have been talking about the boycott of it the most have been making it more about a black issue more than the economic issue than anything.
I think this whole thing is dumb. Like just like dumb. People boycotted. What was that brand? The B brand, the fancy brand with the kids.
Balenciaga.
People boycotting their back wearing it. It's like, so y'all not gonna shop for one day and then go right to Target the next day. Make it make sense. Like, I think I was having this conversation at the gym a couple days ago. I'm like, it's dumb. Y'all gonna go back shopping at Amazon at whatever stores y'all shop at, and it's gonna get back money no matter what, right? So it's like, to me, it's dumb. Once again, Black people are following a white man, feminist movement. Same thing happened. Like, it just, I feel like it makes people look dumb doing it.
There's no credibility.
I think it's it's a few things. First, I had a couple of things. First of all, why are we still listening to Al Sharpton? And second of all, if this was a real movement, and if he was really trying to support the Black community, whatever they call themselves doing, and he gave all them gift cards away, why would he take them to Costco? Why wouldn't he take them to support Black-owned businesses? Why wouldn't he? I mean, if that was the whole goal, like, it don't even make sense. People just, I don't know. And then, like you said.
So think about that. And I don't know if you guys heard about that, Al Sharpton them gave out all like the gift cards so that people could shop at Costco's. But like she said, why not support Black-owned businesses? And all you're going to hear is crickets. All you're going to hear is that, I'm a good old boy, and these people, they aren't Black. They don't understand. People already hate Anton. Anton was one of the people who really opened my eyes to what was going on in the world, in society. I already kind of was abreast to it, but I wasn't where I am today. And I definitely understand that we have a long, long, long way to go. Long, long, long way to go. So I'm going to play a little bit more of this, and then we're going to move on to the next thing.
Piggybacking off you, like, if you're going to do something, like, I don't mind, like, if you're going to spend your money or boycott, like you say, it's got to be for something tangible. Like, for me, until y'all focus on these kids out here dropping, I don't believe you. I just don't. I ain't gonna never believe you. I'm not gonna never believe you genuine as long as I hear people steady hollering about things that's just not really priority right now. I think y'all silly, actually.
Jazz is the only one that partake into this blackout. I know it's somebody else. What are y'all scared?
I mean, I understand everyone's viewpoint. I don't totally disagree. For me, it was just trying to see Black people come together on something, you know.
Why do y'all always need a community before you like do something right? Like, why do y'all need a cosigner? Why do you need a group to put a battery in y'all back before y'all learn to think for yourself? Why are we like, why is the culture always focused on what somebody else is telling you to do instead of them thinking for themselves?
Man, Anton just asked every question that I just said. And also on my previous episode, I talked about something that Marcellus Wiley said. Some of y'all are a relay team and some of y'all are individual runners. And some of y'all need a relay team because you'll never win a race by yourself. And he just asked that question. Why do we have to have some type of campaign, some type of push, some slogan to do things that are right? Or that you feel is going to make things better? That's where we're failing in society. We have no vision. We have no vision in the African American community. And the ones who do have a vision for themselves or have a vision, we get called names. We are outsiders. We're going to be isolated. We're going to be on this island by ourselves. But it's okay because I can swim. And when I get to safety, I'm going to save myself.
Like all of the talking points, the way that we talk, the way that we communicate, and it's so funny because the people that always talk about Black people coming together a lot of times disassociate themselves with other Black people that think differently than them, that would actually empower them and allow for them to actually make more of an impact in whatever it is that they need, right? So if you're talking about representation, for example, diversity, equity, and inclusion, they don't want Black Republicans, for example. You know what I'm saying? They don't want people that speak differently than them. They don't want people that could bring back information based off of lived experiences that may be completely different from being raised in a hood. And I just think that you just got to disband this whole thing. We've been doing the same, and not me as an Anton, but as a culture, been doing the same shit for longer than I've been alive. And we conveniently get worse and worse off as a community. We've been saying the same Black Panther bullshit since the beginning of time, and collectively we are worse off than ever before when you compare yourself to the rest of the demographics that we then separate ourselves from. Like it would seem like we would come up with something else and be like, you know what? That shit ain't working. This shit ain't working. The way that we vote ain't working. The way that we meet to ourselves and attach ourselves to some movement that don't even mean shit, that we don't even know where it came from, ain't working. Like we keep doing the same thing over and over and over again. And it will behoove you to say, you know what? I don't want to do that no more. Because usually the people that then say, you know what, I want to break away from this, those are the ones that break out and take off and do really, really well and be successful. I don't understand the mindset behind like the follower mentality and an inability to be able to educate ourselves and think for ourselves.
Most people don't have a solution. They just got a complaint and an observation and a criticism. But when you start talking like solutions-oriented people, those are the first people to get excommunicated, like you were talking about before. Like, because nobody wants to hear what it really takes to solve a problem, and then really stay on task when you really lay it out. You know what the goal is, other than just like,
what's the goal? What's the goal?
I can't. I can't understand what the goal is of this particular thing because I didn't participate in this event. But from what I've seen, and I've been asking the same questions, is like, what are you protesting, and what do you hope to achieve out of the protest? And I haven't
Well,
gotten
hold on.
a concise answer.
Let's mine this out, right? Let's say hypothetically that John Schwarz, right, the earthy looking John Schwarz guy, is a part of the People's Union. Didn't decide that he wanted to post this. That then we played a game of telephone, and all of a sudden it became a Black community issue, right? Everything become Black. Let's say hypothetically that he didn't do this, and that Black people came up with it, and it actually was something that we, you know, was conceived by us, for us, by us, FUBU. What's the goal?
Yeah, I think all things considered would be to, if it was left up to me, I'd be looking at trying to establish political equity.
No, not you. What's the goal of this economic blackout? Is what I'm saying. From a Black culture perspective, what was the goal? Assuming that John Schwarz never came up with it, why did y'all jump on board, or why do y'all think that people jumped on board?
They were able to sell the Black community a dream that if we just all didn't shop for one day, our $1.3 trillion buying power was somehow going to take away from all of these businesses and cause them to fail within that day. And, you know, much like Jazz had mentioned, even though they have other days lined up, it's still one day at a time, and it's pretty spread out. So it's not a consistent effort. And much like Victor said, it's not consistent, and therefore we cannot measure the actual impact, if there even is one, that comes from it. And so apparently everybody thought that Black people were going to stay home for a day, as if people don't have errands to run, as if maybe that might have been somebody's only off day to go do what they needed to do. But, you know, folks insisted that if you guys just don't shop today, these countries will put some respect on our names, as if them rolling back DEI initiatives was somehow.
As y'all can see, those who get it. Those who don't probably never will. With that being said, we continue to dive into different parties, man. We're partiers. When I say we, I mean the Black, the African American culture. We continue to just put ourselves in everybody's boat. And it's crazy to me that you want to jump on everybody's boat knowing that they brought you here on the boat. You'll think that we'll be afraid of water. We continue to keep jumping on everybody's boat. And see, just because I'm a conservative doesn't mean I don't want to see my people do good. That's common sense. I want to see Black people do good. That'd probably be the reason why I watch so much sports, because it's like the closest you get to seeing our people do well is being athletic. Because anybody who does well in a political state, you get yourself a Brian Donald, anything of that nature, you call him an Uncle Tom. He's a good old boy. He's you know, he wants to be white, blah blah blah. Like that's what happens. So we'll rather jump from boat to boat, follow John Schwarz, who you don't even know. People don't even know this man. And what I'm going to do is do a little bit more research about his foundation, because a lot of times we're jumping into items, or we're jumping into things that we aren't educated enough about, and it could be funding the man as well. So just something to think about. Hope you guys enjoy that portion. I just wanted to give you a little thought process and hear other people talk about it and give their opinion. And I love watching things that also shows that I'm not the only one who thinks the way I think. But one thing that we have to do better is, we're worrying about spending money. We got to worry about not killing each other, because that's what we continue to do in our culture. We're getting rid of each other. We're not even doing better in our own environment. And I'm going to let you guys watch this, and would love to hear some opinions in the comments about this.
A 30-year-old man and his 5-year-old daughter were murdered at a car wash in the Fort Worth suburb of Forest Hill.
At this point, it appears to be a targeted shooting, and police are looking for 2 gunmen. Dozens of evidence markers show where the gunfire erupted today at the car.
Look at all those bullet shells. The biggest number I see is 48 right there. Let's say it was 48 shots. This person came to do nothing but kill and didn't care who they killed.
Car wash on I-20 at Forest Hill Drive. A 30-year-old rapper and his young daughter were both killed. Fox 4's Peyton Yeager is in Forest Hill with the update from police on their investigation. Peyton.
Stephen, Heather, that first 911 call came in just before 11 a.m. this morning, and we did not receive an update from Forest Hill Police until just about an hour ago at 8 p.m. They now tell us police have identified at least one of the suspects and have issued a capital murder warrant. However, police are not releasing any of the names of the suspects. We know that two men, police say, opened fire on the victims. A witness who lives across the street from the car wash tells me she heard multiple rounds of gunfire. Take a listen.
6 the first time, and then it was like a half a second to a second. I heard 6 more, and then a half a second or a second later, I heard 3 more.
Becky Johnson startled by what she says sounded like back-to-back gunfire. A deadly shooting in broad daylight at a car wash off Forest Hill Drive and Interstate 20.
I could see people filling for their cars.
Johnson watching customers take cover behind their own vehicles. Forest Hill police say 2 men got.
So there was other people there that morning too. 48 shots, as we could see. That's the highest number we could see on Shell's case. And what's even more sad is that this gentleman, this rapper, or Lil Ronnie, whatever his name was, that's not even a concern, because that happens every day. But his 5-year-old daughter is now no longer here. This little girl hasn't even started kindergarten yet, and her life is now being taken away too soon, too early. She could have been the next big thing, the first president. We don't know what God had in store for her. But due to her own father's trials or tribulation or whatever was going on, this young lady lost her life. And we're up here worrying about economic blackout when we continue to black out our own community by gun violence. And I know you guys hate to hear that. You hate to hear the black on black crime. You guys will be worried about that I had shoot down there instead of shot. That's how the internet works today. Everybody worries about the little things, and we have bigger issues and bigger fish to fry.
Out of a Kia, approached the victim's car and opened fire. Sky 4 video shows dozens of evidence markers around a maroon Challenger. Also, a vacuum still laying in the front seat. Forest Hill police confirm 2 were killed in the Monday shooting.
And a baby, a baby.
Family members tell Fox 4 the victims are 30-year-old Chucky Smith, known as North Texas rapper G Money Lil Ronnie, and his 5-year-old daughter. The little girl just had a birthday yesterday.
Cleaning the car out, and somebody came through shooting and killed him and the baby.
Fort Worth and Mansfield police were on scene to help with crowd control.
Let me take that back for y'all. Why is it that many people out there? Look at the crowd. And, you know, we're going to hear the same thing, that he was a good guy. He never messed with anybody. And I'm not here to beat a man while he's down and that he passed away. With that being said, the scenes and the pictures don't add up to the words that we're saying. What they say, actions speak louder than words. And we're seeing the action all around us if you just watch the background of all this news.
Crowd control, raw emotions as loved ones rushed to the car wash. Cries were heard as people leaned on one another.
When is gonna stop?
And the car wash, Stephen Heather, released a statement this afternoon saying it's working to assist police, and the car wash will be closed for the next few days. Meanwhile, Forest Hill police tell us that they are working with multiple agencies on this case, including Fort Worth Police, Everman Police, Kennedale Police, and the Tarrant County Sheriff's Office. But at this hour, no one has been arrested.
A 30-year-old man in.
And so everybody's covering this story. And it's just a sad sight, man. 5-year-old girl not going to be able to see tomorrow due to whatever's going on. I know they did a little bit more background and they found out too that he actually posted a video on social media pretty much saying that nobody wasn't going to touch him. You know where I'm at. I'm at the car wash and nobody ain't going to come up here and do anything. And it was other news videos that showed different things that were happening outside of it was people getting into it in front of the police officers. For somebody who didn't have any beef or any issues or didn't bother anybody, it was a lot of things going on. So again, praying for his family, praying for the Forest Hill, Texas area, just neighborhood anyway. We just have to do better. We're so concerned about everything else that's going on in life, and we can't even save one life a day. We can't save one life a day. You can't make this stuff up. And we'll continue to want to fight every fight but the fight that we need to be fighting, which has nothing to do with boycotting, has nothing to do with we have to do better as a community. We only can save ourselves. And that's my biggest thing. We only can save ourselves. And until we're ready to do that, the world's going to keep moving around us and doing things that keep using us as pawns to do what they need to do. And last but not least, we're going to end on something more positive. Might not be positive to everyone because everyone, everybody who don't support Donald Trump might look at this differently. But if you guys have heard, Honda is going to be moving to Indiana, and they're going to be building the rest of their Honda Civic hybrids there due to the tariffs that President Trump placed. They're now going to be moving out of Mexico and moving this factory to Indiana, which is going to do what for Americans? It's going to provide us more jobs, more opportunity, more business, more money for the economy, and things are going to boom. So everybody don't understand, but these tariffs are being used in a positive manner, regardless that it doesn't look that way. Power doesn't always look popular, but power gets things done. So we're going to hear what they got to say about Honda, and then we're going to close this thing on out.
Honda is producing its next generation Civic hybrid in Indiana instead of Mexico to avoid President Donald Trump's expected tariffs on one of its top-selling cars. The change revealed by Reuters, which cited 3 people familiar with the matter. The move comes as automakers prepare for the president's 25% tariffs on goods from Mexico and Canada set to take effect Tuesday. Honda, Japan's second largest vehicle manufacturer, initially planned to produce its new Civic in Mexico and starting in November of 2027. A source tells Reuters Honda picked Mexico because rising costs made it difficult to manufacture the car in Indiana and Canada. Now the source says the automaker will build the new Civic in Indiana in May of 2028, with roughly 210,000 cars produced annually. The company would reportedly import vehicles from countries unaffected by tariffs if production in Indiana falls short of demand. Honda has yet to officially announce its plans, and all sources spoke to Reuters anonymously. Mexico has long served as a lower-cost option for global automakers, and Honda reportedly sends the vast majority of its Mexican output to the U.S. The company said it sold around 1.4 million vehicles in the U.S. last year, and roughly 40% of them were imported from Mexico and Canada. For more on this story, you can download this.
So as you see there, things are moving forward, man. We're bringing money back to the city. That 40% that's being shipped from Mexico is already going to be here now. So that means, again, we have more money circulating the cities, more money circulating Indiana. It's going to be good. And my biggest thing is that just secured jobs for Americans right there. They're averaging around 210,000 of those annually. So just imagine those people who didn't know what work was going to look like in the next couple of years. they can solidify that they're going to be able to build these vehicles and do what they need to do. So the Hondas moving to Indiana, the hybrid Hondas that they're going to be building. Good job, man. Good job, President Trump. Continue this. So before I let you guys go today, I just want you guys to know that we all are here to make change. And you either can be part of the solution or part of the problem. And if you're not willing to have conversations that make you feel uncomfortable, conversations that you might feel that you're not intelligent enough to have, conversations that don't always fit your norm, you have to get used to it. The world is changing, and the world is changing every day, and changing is inevitable. There's a book I would like to recommend to you guys who are interested. It's called Who Moved the Cheese? It's like a 90-page read, quick and easy, very cartoonish type book, but it's called Who Moved the Cheese? And it talks about being ready for change, expecting change, and knowing when change is going to come, and to smell your cheese daily so that you're ready for change. And that's one of the things I really challenge my people to do, is to be ready for change and understand that God plan is going to go through regardless. Our stories have already been written. So why not be positive each and every day? Even if we don't agree on everything, we can agree to disagree. But that doesn't take us to call names. That doesn't take us to talk about each other in a brash way, but also get all the facts. As you've seen today, they made a movement that had nothing to do with Black people, and they made us the vocal point of the movement. So understand and be on the lookout for who's really the real culture vultures. With that being said, make sure you hit that like, make sure you comment, subscribe. And as I always leave every video, God loves you, which is most importantly, I love you, you're beautiful, and your boy's out. There you go.